Hi, my name is Holm-DiDio, and I'm a leadership and executive career coach and also a interculture trainer. In my work, I meet a lot of people who are actively working in international careers, both in the multilateral sector, but also as entrepreneurs and in the private sector. Today, I wanted to talk to you about an issue or a topic that I encounter fairly often. And that is the importance of the stories we tell ourselves. The narrative that we create about ourselves, about our life, our abilities, our skills, and our competencies. And especially as it relates to how we tell the story about mistakes and errors and failures that we have encountered and experienced throughout our life and our careers. Failures and mistakes aren't bad in itself or in themselves. What matters is what we learn from them and the narrative, the story we tell about what happened. I've often worked with people who are extremely self-critical and who have started to create a story about themselves as failures, where they look back at choices they made throughout maybe the last 5 years and choices they made that didn't work out. And now after the fact, they can see that, they should have made another choice. They should have done something else. And the accumulation of choices made that they now, in retrospect, look at as failures is starting to weigh heavily on them and actually preventing them from moving forward, preventing them from seeing opportunities, and most of all, really preventing them from believing in themselves and in their ability to live a happy and meaningful life and to pursue the career, the job, the purpose that they deep down know is the right thing for them. And it's starting to hold them back, and they're doubting yourself. So they're in this circle of doubting themselves and thinking that they're failures. What do you do about this? When I work with such a client, what I do is what we do is we look at, is the story that I'm telling myself, is the story that I have created of who I am, what I can do, what I've accomplished, and what my failures are. Is it based on reality, or is there some distorted thinking? Is there excessive self-criticism that's actually making it worse than what it really was? And then we move from there to look at how can we rewrite this story? How can we create a narrative of learning and development and overcoming challenges? A positive narrative that will help us move forward and that will also improve our self-esteem and our self-knowledge and understanding of who we are. How do we do this? I usually start by asking my clients to write, to actually take time to write. And you don't have to be a good writer to this. It's just about writing, noting down what has happened. What happened in the past? What did I do? What was the choices I made? How did it feel? What was the reason that I made the choices I did? What is the reason perhaps that things didn't work out the way I expected to? And then we analyze what you've written and we look at patterns of how you're talking about yourself and what is the story that you're creating. And if your story is excessively self-critical and really holding you back, then the next step that I ask my clients to do is to rewrite the story and do it again. And this time, write it. Tell the story, not from a perspective of failure, of disappointment, but actually from a perspective of lessons learned. Yes, choices made that didn't work out, but that you grew from. And to look at what is the growth, what's the learning in this process, and where can this take me? How can I use what has happened in the past to actually move forward. It might sound easy and simple. It isn't always. Sometimes we spend a lot of time working on this and working on the self-confidence and the self-knowledge and the self-esteem of my client. And this is often also related to something that we call the imposter syndrome, where again, we're excessively self-critical and perhaps perfectionists and and don't allow ourselves to make mistakes. But that's something I want to talk about next time. So if you find yourself in questioning your past, questioning choices made, and becoming excessively critical of yourself and losing your confidence and your ability in pursuing the leadership opportunities, the leadership jobs, the career options that's ahead of you, then this is something that you may want to do. Take a pause, take a step back, and really assess what happened and look for the growth opportunity in what you've gone through. A coach can help you do that. Happy Friday to you all.